Senjou no Waltz was one of the first otome games I've played, and it was a blast of the past to go back to it and see how my perception changed. The plot revolves around this magical sword the heroine obtains trying to defend her village and family. In this sword resides a little boy, and upon taking the sword their souls are bound together. Though she was trained in swordsmanship by her father, the sword's magic is too powerful to handle and she has to attend a military academy. So the royalty can watch over her and she can be trained to control the sword. And after this rather action-packed introduction, the game reverts back to a school simulator. Look, here's the infirmary. Here are the classrooms. Here's the dome. So you totally forget they're actually training to going to war.
Yeah, I thought it's a school setting.
And this relaxed setting continues for most of the character routes as well. You can date your classmates. Abel, the cool kudere, who isn't very outspoken but actually carries a heavy secret.
I like him and Rustin the most.
His route had ups and downs for me. At times I was annoyed by his short sentences, and then his kudere nature made me laugh so much. And the last chapter definitely took a darker turn than expected. But still I couldn't really relate to his conflict, and their love development seemed very sudden, especially on the MC side. Pashu, on the other hand, is a bright and friendly fellow who cries easily. And his route actually also gives him really grave reasons to cry.
Why do people even want to date kids?
His route focuses most on the war setting and reminds the characters how cruel war is. But that also led to the impression that his romance couldn't be the focus of the route. And thus I didn't develop any feelings for him. Who I loved the most though, then and now, is Dustin. The confident flirt with no dark secret, but just a really interesting hobby.
He looks good. No idea what happened in the story, but he looks good and we're together now, so...
His scenes were the most romantic and even slightly steamy for me, which makes him win my Most Sexy award. His romance also was the most well-paced in my opinion, and progressed hand in hand with the interesting and varied plot. Completing Abel unlocks Nike.
I can't play them first, guess I will play them never.
The shy and silent boy, who is more into healing than hurting people on the battlefield. In his route, there wasn't much plot to take the focus of the romance, and though he wasn't my type personally, he turned out to be a sweet and extremely interesting character, with a well-paced romance story and a lot of tragedy, angst and drama in his route. Completing Rustin unlocks Tifalet.
So sad I can't play him, he looks so good.
A mage doctor who makes girls fall for him unintentionally, though he's actually not interested in bonding with other people. Though I liked his character, they really used an overused plot device that has the potential to destroy all the build-up. Though it didn't destroy his character this time, I still was annoyed by just seeing this plot device yet again, and seeing everything resolved in the last chapter way too quickly. And lastly, you of course can date the sword. Because don't forget, you're in an otome game, and everything with relax will be dated. How to ever date this bratty sword? You might ask.
He's a kid.
Wait until you suddenly see him grow up, because otome logic, and that's another story. Well, he still is bratty and bloodthirsty, wants to kill and fight, but at least he looks good now. This time it's Lan to show him the world, as he was basically locked up in the sword for centuries. And he grew weirdly attached to her and follows her like a puppy, though he'd of course never admit that. The interactions with the other characters were the funniest in his route. But the writers wanted to tell too much in too little time, which sadly made his route feel rushed overall. I said you date anyone? Well, yeah, no. Sadly not these hotties. In general, the cast of side characters look good looking, charismatic, charming, and they actually play a role in some routes, which makes the game feel more organic. Noble girl coincidentally obtains magical legendary sword. Somehow sounds like the setup of Princess Arthur to me. And this game is indeed written by the same scenario writer as Princess Arthur, which will also be ported to the Switch soon, but also by the same writer as the well-known, how I call it, the Satoi Steamy trilogy, Nil Admirari no Tenbin, Olympia Soiree and Tengoku Struggle. And what? Never heard of those. The two last are being localized as well. Senjou no Waltz made some things better and some things worse than Princess Arthur. What improved was the heroine. Though she still is mainly mute in important plot moments, she at least got some development in the common route, and thus isn't totally helpless and pathetic in all the other routes. The The plot also feels more important in this slightly slower build-up. Yet it also suffers from the last chapter syndrome, unraveling and solving everything really quickly in the last chapter, with a monologue within seconds. And that greater focus on the plot also marginalized the romance even more. For my taste, there are too few scenes with only the LI and the MC alone, and too many group dates, so to say. If you like a lively cast and important side characters, that might be a bonus for you. But for me, who just wants to be smooched, every character is an obstacle on my way to getting kissed. Also, as Senjou no Waltz is much more school settings, the LIs are younger in appearance and more inexperienced in love, which of course makes for a quite different dynamic in the love development compared to Princess Arthur. What I liked better in Senjou no Waltz though were the sigis. They have this pinky, shoujo, glossy, glittery style I prefer in comparison to the mute colors in Princess Arthur. Pretty! The voice cast though impressed me slightly less, with Konitaka from Kimiyuki, Masamune from Tenbin and Tengoku, Milk Tea from Colloquial, but also Ringo from Uta no Prince-sama, Heinish from Tokeiji Kake no Apocalypse, but also Shin from Amnesia, and Dante from Pure Fiore. Oh, I bought that one! Wonder what's up with the Chinese guy. The language is slightly easier than in Princess Arthur and suitable for lower intermediate learners. You're really sure about that? I struggled so hard and understood like close to nothing. By the way, Len, I really love your t-shirts. Oh, thanks. You can buy it on Amazon. Oh, nice. That also means you can send it back if you don't like it. But I do like my shirts. How convenient, without any risk, and it can even support your channel. And then I can also brag about my Japanese skills and share that I'm an otome fan with all my friends. The Vita and the Switch. Hi guys. How amazing. So I'm gonna watch this video till the end, and then I'm gonna check out the link in your description box, right? While I'm at it, I'm also gonna start to buy all the games I buy from Amazon Japan, or basically everything I need from Amazon Japan, through your affiliate link. Sure, thanks, enjoy! That's such a nice deal. I can get you t-shirts, I can support you without spending additional money, which I think is really practical, you know. You have my support, girl. Or become a patron and help me buy for the games, the equipment, editing programs, and also a bit for the large amount of time I spent on making each single video for you. You should buy Senjou no Waltz if you like a magical school setting, but be prepared for some angsty backstories and really dark plot twists. The game is heavily plot driven and the couple doesn't get to spend a lot of time together, like just relaxing and dating and stuff. Yet the plot in most routes suffers pacing issues and partly becomes a sightseeing otome, where you are led around various places without really doing something, or watch other characters drive the plot forward, while the MC is just watching them without playing an active part. I'd say there are many better magical school setting otome games, like Want of Fortune or Shinobi Koi, and better war and magical sword otome games, because apparently that is now a thing. Like the predecessor, Princess Arthur, with a more mature style, left a deeper impression on me. Wonder what's up with the Chinese guy. Little did she know.